Hello and welcome to the February 13th, 2021 edition of the Bobby Hesley Show. It's been a while since I broadcasted about political topics. I've been a very busy man, very, very busy man, but it's good to see you all. It's good to be here with you. Teflon Don, Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, who's still my president, who will always be my president. Hey, I can call him my president. There's still people who refer to Barack Obama as President Barack Obama, okay? When Sister Rosa Parks died up in Detroit and Clinton and everybody flew in, when they introduced Bill Clinton at her funeral, they introduced him as President Bill Clinton, even though he'd been out of office for 8 years. So if Democrats can call Bill Clinton President Bill Clinton, and if they can call President, Barack Obama President Barack Obama, well, guess what? I can call Teflon Don President Donald J. Trump, and that's what I'm going to do, and you're going to like it. All right? Now, I missed you guys. I was talking to Democrats, by the way, not my listeners, not my beautiful, wonderful viewers. It's good to see you guys. Please like, comment, and share this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because there's a Washington Post article that I want you to read that you can only find on my YouTube channel. You'll have to subscribe. Hey, guys. Who are some movie buffs in the house? Any movie buffs here? Yeah, I missed you too, Vanny. I missed you too. Hey guys, every Christmas, it's kind of become a tradition with a lot of Americans to watch It's a Wonderful Life. You guys know that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, right? Guys, what was that line at the end of A Wonderful Life when Jimmy Stewart finally comes back home and his daughter walks up to him and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, pudding cake? How do you feel?" What was that thing she said to him? You remember she said something to him? She said something like this. She was like, "Every time an orange man avoids impeachment, a Democrat, their heads explode." Or something like that. You remember that? "Every time Donald Trump avoids impeachment, an angel gets his wings." You guys remember that line? What wasn't that line in there? Or something like that. Every time Donald Trump avoids impeachment, an angel gets his wing. Maybe that's why there's so many freaking angels. There's so many angels. I just sounded like Joe Biden there. Did you guys catch that little Biden stutter I did? I just had a Biden stutter. Every time she come on, man. Maybe that's why there's so many angels. Because there have been so many attempts to impeach Donald Trump, and every single time it falls flat. And it's bittersweet. Obviously, it's sweet because Donald Trump was proven innocent, which we knew he was. We know the whole thing was a farce. We knew the whole thing was a kangaroo court, and the kangaroo court has adjourned. But the fact is, what really ticks me off as an entrepreneur is that my largest expense as an entrepreneur is not paying employees. It's not paying for rehabs. It's not paying for gas. It's not paying for labor materials. It's not paying for accounting. My largest expense as an entrepreneur, your largest expense as an entrepreneur, if you happen to be one, is taxes. State and federal freaking taxes. And that's what annoys me about this kangaroo court, because my hard-earned tax dollars funded this fraud. When I say funded this fraud, I'm talking about the Senate impeachment trial. That's what it funded. Our wasted tax dollars. They wasted 50 millions of our dollars on the Ukraine farce, on that first impeachment, on all the Russia hoax crap, when in actuality, Joe and Hunter Biden are the ones who have warrants for their arrest in Ukraine, by the way. They wasted all of our money on that first impeachment. Then they wasted all of our tax money on this impeachment, which didn't work, didn't stick. We knew it wouldn't stick. And the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves for pulling a stunt like this during a pandemic that they've been so up in arms about. That's such a supposedly big threat. This pandemic, this horrible COVID-19 that's going to cause us a dark winter. And it's a force heretofore unrecognized that's going to kill hundreds of millions of people. Well, if this coronavirus is so bad, why are you spending all of your time and resources and attention trying to impeach a private citizen, by the way, which you Democrats are happy about now, right? Shouldn't you guys be happy that Donald Trump's a private citizen now? That he's down chilling at Mar-a-Lago playing golf, making money in the private sector again, rather than making America great again? That should make you guys happy that Donald Trump is a private citizen. How is it that a private citizen who's no longer in the Oval Office, who's no longer president of the United States, right? Only sitting presidents can get impeached, according to the 25th Amendment. Donald Trump's not a sitting president, right? He's a private citizen now. He lost, right? Jim Crow Joe won, right? So why are you guys doing that? But if the pandemic is so bad and we have to wear double masks now because the pandemic is just so bad, then why aren't they devoting all their time, effort, and resources to fighting this pandemic instead of trying to impeach a private citizen? That's my question. All of a sudden, COVID ain't a threat anymore, huh? And that proves to you, in my opinion, your man Bobby Hessley truly believes that in the minds and in the hearts of these Democrats, that they are more afraid of Donald Trump, even as a private citizen, than they are of the coronavirus. That's a fact. You go by what they do, not by what they say. And if you look at their actions, all of their actions since January 20th have been to bury Donald Trump as much as they can. But I thought we're in the middle of this pandemic. We're in the middle of a pandemic that's so bad that nobody could attend the inauguration of Joe Biden. Right? Think about that, guys. If they'd have been working as hard at fighting it and getting America back on track again, they'd actually be doing their jobs. But instead, trying to impeach private citizens. A man that they made a private citizen, by the way. A man that 75 million people fought like hell to not make a private citizen, at least not for the next 4 years, that they tried to keep in public. So it's good to be back, guys. It is good to be back. I have not done any political videos in a while. It has been quite a while, folks. And I want to read to you the statement of Donald Trump. I'm not going to read the whole thing because obviously it was a pretty lengthy letter. If you have not done so, please like this video. Please comment on it. Please share it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Guys, we have nowhere else to go right now. We have to work with what God is giving us with these big tech commie platforms. I promise you, once there's a viable alternative that comes, I'm going to get on all that stuff. We all will. But listen, let's go where the traffic is. Let's reach the people that aren't going to be on those places, right? I want to reach everybody. So I'm working on it. So in the meantime, help your man out and subscribe to my my platforms. So, I want to show you guys something. For some reason, okay, I guess they changed the settings here. I got to get used to this new screen share. So I want to read the statement that Donald Trump made, okay? Here's what the statement is from Donald J. Trump, from the office of Donald Trump. I love that. I mean, hey, listen. I mean, if Joe Biden can manufacture the office of president-elect, which is not a constitutional office, right? It's a creation that he made. He went to Office Max, Office Depot, Staples, and he basically spent $20 on some stationery to make this office of president-elect, which I've never heard of before. So listen, if Jim Crow Joe can create the office of president-elect, then Teflon Don can dang sure create the office of Donald J. Trump, right? Two can play this game, guys. Two can play this game. And I'm about to show you how two have been playing this game regarding this supposed rhetoric that these Democrats have been talking about. So listen to what Donald Trump said. He said, and I can't read the whole thing, but you guys can find it everywhere. I want to read the poignant parts. He said, it is a sad commentary on our times that one political party in America is given a free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, and not only cheer mobs, but actually start GoFundMe accounts to let them out of jail like Kamala Harris did last summer with all the rioters and looters and rapists in the wake of the George Floyd riots. Excuse rioters and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance and persecute, blacklist, cancel, and suppress all people and viewpoints with whom or which they disagree. I always have and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement, and the right of Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate. Now, this is the line that I really want you guys to take note of. He ends the letter by saying, our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. There has never been anything like it. President Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen, again, Barack Obama can be President Barack Obama. If Bill Clinton can be President Bill Clinton, then Donald Trump can be President Donald Trump. So like it. Guys, the law of unintended consequences is going to kick in really, really hard here, as it does in many cases with Democrats. You know, these Democrat politicians, these legislators, they don't think things through because they live their life based on their little fee-fees. They're led around by their emotions. They're led around by their feelings. A lot of people think it's liberal versus conservative, Democrat versus Republican, right versus left. I don't view it in that way. That's partly what it is, but it's really the feelers versus the thinkers. If you look at the division of our country, and the United States is more divided than it's ever been since the pre-Civil War era, in my opinion. I'm not calling for civil war, but what I'm saying is if you look at the climate of the country leading up to the Civil War in the early 1860s, it was very divided, except then you had the abolitionists versus the Confederates, right? You had the North versus the South. It's not like that today. Today we have the feelers versus the thinkers. That's what this Civil War in our country is. All this cancel culture, all this vitriol that we see on social media, this filth that comes out of these sewer mouths of people when someone disagrees with them, that's the current Civil War that we live in our day and age, folks. It's the Civil War of the feelers versus the thinkers. And unfortunately, we got a bunch of feelers running our country right now. But I still believe in the bedrock of our country. I'm not a fatalist. I'm not a nihilist. I'm not one of those people that thinks America is dead. I don't. I believe that our founding fathers have put things in place that can preserve our country from these things that we fear. We are under communist rule. I do believe we are for the time being. But I do believe that things are going to change and things are going to turn around. And this is part of the beginning of it, folks. This is part of the beginning of it. I think as time goes on, I feel like we are starting to get away from the blast radius of the 2020 elections. That doesn't mean we accept the outcome. That doesn't mean we concede or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, it's the old cliche that time heals. I have been very, very focused on a lot of things, guys, that I can control. That's why you haven't been seeing me broadcasting. You know, I could probably count on one hand how many broadcasts I've done since January 20th. I haven't done many, as you guys have noticed. And I've lost followers. I don't know if it's because people are leaving Facebook or if they're just unfollowing me because they're not hearing from me. I don't know what the deal is. I've been doing lots of posts, which I enjoy. I've been engaging with lots of people in written texts, been getting into some theological debates, some political debates, which I like doing. But the fact is, I feel that the country is still savable. I really do. And the reason why I do is because if you study history, a lot of people who assume power, this coup against President Trump, and it was a successful coup for the time being, I believe it's going to backfire on a lot of these people. It's already starting to backfire, guys. This is the second acquittal that Donald Trump has had. And this is historic, guys. And I'm not trying to take away anything from Black History Month because I know we're in February, right? And I've got my bones to pick with Black History Month. I feel it's very revisionist. I feel there's lots of lies and omissions that are brainwashed and indoctrinated into our kids in public schools every February, and I don't like it. And I will do some videos about that. But I'm not trying to take away from the history of Black History Month, but it is historic that a private citizen, for the first time in American history, I mean, show me if there's been another case of an ex-president who's now a private citizen being impeached. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a president who's now a private citizen impeached? I've never seen it. That's pretty historic in its own right. The other thing that's historic is that he walked on both attempts, unlike Bill Clinton, who was impeached over the blue dress. But I argue, guys, that because of what happened today, February 13th, 2021, with the second acquittal, I believe that Donald Trump is going to be more relevant now than he ever was. I believe that. I believe that he's had a month to chill. He's had a month to catch his breath and hang out down at Mar-a-Lago, play golf. And I don't have proof of this. But I believe, and I wouldn't be surprised if this comes out in the coming weeks. Brace for impact, guys, because I'm getting ready to say something that's going to bum you all out. I believe that Rush Limbaugh is about to die. I believe that he's in the final stages of his stage 4 cancer. He's missed his shows. He hasn't been on the air since February 3rd. I think it was February 3rd. Either February 3rd or February 6th. Don't quote me on that. But he has been gone for quite a while. And he lives down in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is where Mar-a-Lago is. And him and Donald Trump are very good friends. They've been friends for a long time. In fact, Rush Limbaugh was the very first talk show host to interview Donald Trump back in 2012 when Trump was talking about running for president, back when he was doing the whole birther controversy regarding Barack Obama's birth certificates. And I'll never forget, he had Donald Trump on, and I remember hearing Trump, I would be a great president. I would go after China, and I would do this. This was back in 2012 he was saying this. We talk about promises made, promises kept. He was a guest on Rush Limbaugh back in the summer of 2012, right during the 2012 election between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. And he was on Rush's show back then talking about going after China, talking about being a great president, talking about building a wall. He was talking about immigration back then. A lot of people go back to June of 2015 when he came down the escalator at Trump Tower. No, even 3 years prior to that, he was talking about it. And the guy came in and did everything he said he was going to do years ago. But I believe that Donald Trump has been visiting with Rush Limbaugh down in Florida as Rush washes up on the shore of eternity. I bet they've been hanging out. And if I was a fly on the wall in that conversation, I would imagine that Rush was encouraging Donald Trump to keep fighting. I don't know if was encouraging him to run again or do whatever. But I believe that Rush Limbaugh has probably made some dying wishes to Donald Trump that Donald Trump is going to take to heart. I mean, think about it. Donald Trump last year gave Rush Limbaugh the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he had his wife Melania put it on Rush. It's the highest honor you can get as an American citizen, to get the Medal of Freedom at a State of a Union address. They're very good friends. Donald Trump did a radio rally on the Rush Limbaugh show last year. 50 million people tuned in. 50 million people listened. Rush Limbaugh encouraged Donald Trump to go down to Georgia to stump for the two losers, the two Republican turncoats. And Trump did it. They're very good friends, guys. And we're about to lose Rush. Please pray for Rush. Pray for his wife, Catherine. And so that's what I believe Trump's been doing. I think he's been recouping down in Florida. I think he's been getting some much deserved R&R. Much deserved rest and relaxation. And I believe he's been hanging out with Rush Limbaugh. I don't have proof of that. That's just a little Bobby Hesley theory, but I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out. And I believe that Donald Trump has just caught his second wind. I believe that he has nursed his wounds. He's been licking his wounds. We all have been, guys. We've all been licking our wounds. The question is, how have you been licking your wounds? How have you been tending to your wounds that you've suffered since all these different defeats that we kept suffering? We suffered defeat. I don't believe we suffered defeat on November 3rd, but we suffered defeat on November 3rd, right? We've been licking our wounds from that. Right? Then December 14th came. We had to lick our wounds from that when they certified this piece of crap. Right? Then January 6th came. That happened. January 20th came. That happened. 43 executive orders came. That happened. Right? We've been nursing our wounds every single time. And just when we nurse a wound back to health and we get the scab all worn down and healed, they tear it off again with something else that they do. And Trump's been going through the same thing. We all have been as a country. But that's not going to be without consequence, folks. I'm telling you. There is no way that there's going to be one party rule in America for the rest of his time here. It's just not going to happen. I just don't believe it's going to happen. I've got a new wave of optimism. And I'm going to be honest, guys, part of why I'm so optimistic right now, it's not just because Trump got acquitted, but I believe that his acquittal is going to be the spark that ignites the forest fire. You know those wildfires that start in California? It all starts from one little spark somewhere, and then it just catches on. I believe that the second acquittal is like a little spark that's going to reignite the MAGA movement. And I don't think the MAGA movement ever died. I think it's just as strong. I mean, look, I'm still wearing it. I'm still wearing Black Voices for Trump, baby. Black Voices for Trump forever, man. I was just hanging out with some awesome people that I met with from Black Voices for Trump here in Detroit. We had some local elections here. My good friend Jamie Swafford was running for ethnic vice chair of the GOP. My friend Ty Bundy just got reelected, which I'm really happy about. So we got some local stuff going here in Michigan, and we've all been bummed out, but we've all been coping. We've all been dealing. And if you guys have been following me, the way I've been getting revenge on Democrats and on Joe Biden is by having success, man. I've been rehabbing houses. I'm in the middle of 4 rehabs right now. That's how I've been nursing my wounds. I have been unleashing my entrepreneurial aggression on my business, because what else can I do? What else should I do? Should I just not get out of bed in the morning and just stay under the covers in the fetal position with my, sucking my thumb all day? Like Jim Carrey in the corner in Dumb and Dumber. Remember after Seabass was done with him, he's in the corner. Like, what should I do? Give up? Quit? Not make money? What should you guys do? Things didn't go our way on the 3rd, but they went our way today, right? They're going to go our way in the midterms. I believe, listen, guys, and this gets to some of the comments here that some of you people are you awesome people are saying here. We got some Supreme Court cases coming up. We got some Sidney Powell stuff on the horizon that's coming up. Lynn Wood. There are things on the docket for the Supreme Court. Now, I'm not going to go all Q on you, because you guys have heard what I've been saying about Q. I ain't going to go in that Q direction. But so everything I'm saying is moving forward, okay? I believe that some of these Supreme Court cases that are finally going to be heard, I think that they are going to make things moving forward to where something like 2020 can't happen again. I think there's going to be safeguards that are going to be put in place. There's going to be reforms that are going to be made that are going to shape elections. I don't know if Trump's going to run again. I don't think he will. But the fact is, this impeachment was to make sure that Donald Trump could never run again. They tried to bury him in lies. They tried to do everything they could to falsely accuse him of inciting violence at the Capitol on January 6th. And it didn't work. They were hoping that it would work, and it didn't. So the fact that he was acquitted today, I believe, pretty much takes that narrative away for the Democrats that they were trying to craft to try to prevent Trump from running again. Guys, don't be surprised if he runs again. I don't know if he will. I don't know either way. I'm not going to act like I have some kind of secret knowledge and act like, I know he's going to run again. But keep in mind, guys, that this acquittal circus, this kangaroo court that we have been watching unfold, I believe that it was a distraction game to cover up these 43 executive orders that Jim Crow Joe Biden signed. There's a lot of damage that Joe Biden has done to this country already. If Joe Biden were to just retire right now, and don't be surprised if he does and Kamala steps in, but let's say the elections were like tomorrow, right? And he was president for 1 month and somebody came in after him. Joe, just with these 43 executive orders, he has sent this country in a direction that's going to take some time to uncover. Now, thankfully, they're executive orders and not actual laws that were passed through Congress. Executive orders can be lifted as easily as they're put down, okay? They can be undone as easily as they're done, and they can be as easily done as they're undone. And that's why he signed so many of them. They had a stack of them ready waiting for him when he sat down on January 20th. And you could see, I'm sure we've all seen the footage where he's like, what am I signing? And some people were saying that he was signing some blank things. But getting back to this Capitol incitement thing, the Washington Post on January 19th, okay, 3 weeks ago, long before this circus started in Congress, the Washington Post had already admitted, they already conceded and admitted that these attacks that happened at the Capitol were pre-planned. They weren't a bunch of MAGA rally people who were listening to Donald Trump who decided to walk away from his speech and go start storming the Capitol. As a matter of fact, there is proof that these riots had started at the Capitol during President Trump's speech. There were people that were already there waiting long before Trump started talking. And I'm going to show you guys a clip of that. And this is why it's important that you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I actually have the entire article on my YouTube channel. And I want you to go there, subscribe, and you'll have access to it, okay? But let me show you something. This is the article that the Washington Post, this is where they admit their fraudulent reporting. Watch this video. These are the pre-planned rioters that were already there. So these guys were already there. They were already there, folks. And the Washington Post even goes into detail as to who they were. As a matter of fact, I'll read a few clips from this article. Again, if you want to read the full article, head over to my YouTube channel, subscribe. And why am I talking like Joe Biden today? What is it with my stuttering today? Do I have Bidenitis or something? Jeez. So here's what it says, quote, self-styled militia members from Virginia, Ohio, and other states made plans to storm the U.S. Capitol days in advance of the January 6th attack. This is straight from the Washington Post. And then communicated in real time as they breached the building on opposite sides and talked about hunting for lawmakers, according to court documents filed Tuesday. The arrest this weekend of several people with alleged ties to far-right extremist groups, including the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and the Three Percenters. Notice that they're not referring to the Proud Boys as a white supremacist group because it's headed up by a guy named Enrique Tarrio, who's Hispanic. You notice how they changed that narrative once they found out the leader of it is a Hispanic guy. It's no longer a white nationalist, white supremacist, alt-right type group. Suggests that the riot was not an entirely impulsive outburst of violence, but an event instigated or exploited by organized groups. Hours of video posted on social media and poured over by investigators have focused on individuals in military-style gear moving together. Now, guys, I streamed Donald Trump's talk on January 6th live on my channel. I covered the events of January 6th all day. I had a public prayer and fasting event on my channel. I called for all of my viewers to pray and fast while the election was being certified. And I streamed the entire speech of Donald Trump. Did you guys see a single person in that crowd at Donald Trump's speech that was dressed in military-style gear? I didn't. I saw people with their Trump Pence signs, their MAGA hats, Keep America Great, Make America Great Again, their little Trump Pence capes that they were wearing I didn't see any militia, guys. I did not see any people dressed like militia in that crowd. They were already waiting at the Capitol. And as a matter of fact, they didn't come to hear Donald Trump talk, which this article says. They came to go straight to the Capitol to hunt lawmakers, according to these court documents. So it was pre-planned, folks. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump, as the acquittal today proves. As the acquittal proves. Now, Trump, I don't know if Trump has read The Art of War. I don't know if he's read the 33 Strategies of War. I don't know if he's read 48 Laws of Power, but I see a lot of that in his Trump defense. His defense team, they rope-a-doped. They played possum. Do you know what it means to play possum? When you're in a fight, one of the most effective tactics that you can use against your opponent is to conduct yourself in such a way that causes your opponent to underestimate you. You conduct yourself in a way to make your opponent cocky and arrogant, where you basically play weak. You lead on that you're weaker than you really are. If you ever watch Columbo, and I know it was a show back in the 60s, but it's a great show, guys. If you ever have some downtime, get into Columbo. You know why Columbo was such an efficient detective? Columbo always got his man. He always found his murder suspect. And these were some very orchestrated, really complicated murder cases that no other detective would ever be able to crack. They would go unsolved for years. But you know why Columbo always was able to find his man, and he was always able to find the killer, and sometimes the woman. There'd be women that would kill their husbands to get the insurance money and stuff like that. The reason Columbo was such a good detective is because he would always play dumb. He would always act like he was the dumbest guy in the room. People would make fun of him. He'd be kind of cross-eyed. He'd always have his cigar in his mouth. He'd be kind of slunched over. And he had a very non-threatening, non-imposing presence. He was a very friendly guy. He was a very disarming guy. And that's why he was so effective. because he would be in the room with the person that he knew deep down was the killer. He just had to piece together all the evidence. And the whole time he's working him over with his charm. He's like, hey, could you help me out here? Could you, he's got his cigarette in his mouth, his cigar in his mouth. He's like, could you help me understand something here? For those of you who are old enough, you're probably digging my Columbo impression. Could you help me understand something here? How is it that a guy who's 5'6" would be able to reach all the way up there? You got a ladder, something you can help me? Can you lend me a ladder that can help me get up there? Maybe we can take a look up there. That's how Columbo was. He'd never go in like, you did it, and I'm going to take you down, and I'm going to prove it. Follow me down to the police station for questioning. He would always be this weak idiot kind of guy, but it was all on purpose. It was strategic weakness. And that's one of the 48 laws of power. It's called strategic surrender. Okay? Where you conduct yourself in a way that makes your opponent just underestimate you, and they don't see you coming. And the whole time, you're working your magic. It's Law 22. If you ever get into 48 laws of power, read Law 22. It's called strategic surrender. And one of the analogies that they use is the analogy of a snake. You read it real quick. I'm just losing a lot in translation here. Here's what it's called. It's called use the surrender tactic, transform weakness into power. It says when you are weak, never fight for honor's sake. Instead, choose to surrender. Surrender gives you time to recover, time to wait for his power to wane. Do not give him the satisfaction of fighting and defeating you. Surrender first. By turning the other cheek, you infuriate and unsettle him. Make surrender a tool of power. Okay? And basically, there's all the different reasons. He goes into 8 reasons why you should strategically surrender at times. Other times he says to fight, but there's certain times where you have to strategically surrender. I believe that's what Donald Trump's legal defense team did. Did you guys see all the stories that were coming out, even from conservatives that were biting their heads off about how weak they were, how inept they were? Trump needs to. You even had Leo Terrell, who had the honor of meeting at the Black Voices for Trump office in Detroit when he came through. Even Leo Terrell, who was a die-in-the-wool Democrat for his whole life, hardcore Republican, hardcore Trump supporter now. Even Leo Terrell was going on Twitter saying, President Trump, you need to fire your legal team immediately. He fooled us all, guys, because that legal team went in there. They made us all think they were a bunch of idiots. They made us all think that Trump chose the wrong guys. They made us all think that Trump chose these weak, terrible arguers, and they saved all their power. They saved all their strength for the closing 9 minutes of that argument. That final half hour is what I believe is what got Trump acquitted, in my opinion. And we've seen this play out so many different times. Rocky Part 2. My favorite of all the Rocky movies is Rocky 2. The rematch between Rocky and Apollo Creed. When Rocky finally took the title from Creed. Why was that such a good match? Because Rocky let Apollo Creed wear himself out. He took a beating of all beatings for 15 rounds. He just took punch after punch after punch. He let Creed throw everything he had at him, including the kitchen sink. He let Apollo Creed punch himself into such tiredness that Creed couldn't get up at the end of the fight, and Rocky was able to beat him up. He took all that punishment for 15 straight rounds. His own trainer was telling him to throw in the towel. Mickey was saying, Rock, stay down, Rock, stay down. He's killing you, Rock. And what did Rocky say? Don't cut me, Mick. Don't cut me. It's my life. Don't throw in that towel or I'll kill you, Mick. Rocky had to convince his own trainer not to throw in the towel on him because Rocky had a plan. He said, you know what? I'm going to use strategic weakness in this fight. I'm going to let Apollo tire himself out. And if you watch that fight, Apollo was so arrogant the whole time, man. Oh, come on, folks. Get your camera ready. You know, the Apollo Creed character was loosely based on Muhammad Ali. That's the inspiration for that character. Muhammad Ali was a very arrogant boxer. He would dance around. He would taunt his opponents and fight like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He'd be talking junk the whole match. That's what Apollo Creed was doing. And Rocky was just sitting there, just taking it. Punch after punch, just taking it. But in the final 30 seconds of the 15th round, Rocky freaking killed him. Because Apollo Creed was so tired that out of nowhere, Rocky just hits him. And this one hit stunned Creed, and Creed was already so worn out from these other 14 rounds. Rocky just took it to him. And in those final 30 seconds, Rocky beat him and he won the championship. That's what happened. It was strategic surrender. And that's what the Trump legal team did. That's what the Trump legal team did. I'm going to play a clip to you to prove that. I want you guys to see it. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, I want you to see it. But the analogy that they used in the 48 Laws of Power regarding Law 22 of strategic surrender is they use the analogy of a snake, that sometimes a snake will wrap itself around your feet. He will bring himself close to you so that he can wrap himself around you to suffocate you and strike you. Even while you're hitting him, he's not striking right away. He's putting himself in a position to coil himself and strike at the right time. And I'm going to show you guys what Trump's legal team did. Check it out. Now, I want you guys to make sense of what you're watching here. All they were talking about was the rhetoric. When Trump said, fight like hell, we're going to fight like hell. They wouldn't let that fight like hell go. And that's what they tried to use to impeach him. It was a very weak case. And the Trump attorneys, like I said, in their closing argument, this is what sealed the deal, guys. Look at the hypocrisy of these Democrats that the Trump legal team is throwing back at them. Listen to this. Can you guys not hear? Really? Hold on. Can you guys hear? Let me know if you can hear. I don't know why you... No sound from the replays? Oh, man. Hold on a second, guys. Let me redo it. Hold on. Maybe I didn't include sound. You know what? I didn't include sound. Hold on, guys. I appreciate your guys' patience. I'm going to start from the top. You guys got to hear this. Just listen.
The House managers spoke about rhetoric, about a constant drumbeat of heated language. Well, as I'm sure everyone watching expected, we need to show you some of their own words.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go
Listen
and put
to
a bullet
these.
in Donald Trump.
Listen to these leftist, these violent leftist hypocrites. And don't even get me started on Kathy Griffin holding up a bloodied head of Donald Trump. Snoop Doggy Dogg making videos about killing Donald Trump. Madonna talking about blowing up the White House. You freaking kidding me? And they're trying to impeach Trump over saying fight like hell?
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please
get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're going to go in there, we're going to...
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And
now this chick is local in Detroit. This is a local politician here in Detroit that was threatening Cynthia Johnson.
for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Listen to that cackling witch. You guys want to hear what the laugh of a witch sounds like? You guys ever hear a real life witch cackle? They don't, when a witch laughs, they call it a cackle. I want you guys to hear what a witch cackle sounds like. Listen to this.
Soldiers, make them pay.
If you had
Listen to this witch cackle right here.
to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
What an evil
And there's
woman.
more.
Evil woman.
I promise to fight every single day. One, I'm a fighter and I'm relentless, but I'm a fighter and I'm relentless. A fighter and I'm relentless. I will fight like hell.
But the way I see it now is that we pick ourselves up and we fight back.
Again, guys, this is Rocky Balboa in the final 30 seconds of round 15 against Apollo Creed at the Philadelphia Spectrum back in 1976. Look at the way they took it to these guys in their closing arguments. And this is what acquitted Trump. I truly believe that. Because, again, all they fixated on was fight like hell, fight like hell, fight like hell, right? Listen to how many times the word fight is used. I'm not exaggerating if I say it was probably used 500 times. Listen to this. Fight. All you're going to hear is fight. Listen. And this is all recent stuff.
That's what I think it's all about. We stand up and we fight back. We do not back down. We do not compromise, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You can either lie down, you can whimper, you can pull up in a ball, you can decide to move to Canada, or you can stand your ground and fight back. And that's what it's about. We do fight back, but we are going to fight back. We are not turning this country over to what Donald Trump has sold. We are just not. Look, people are upset and they're right to be upset. Now we can whimper, we can whine, or we can fight back. Me, I'm here to fight back.
I'm here to fight back. Clear the cottage cheese out of your throat before you start giving talks, Elizabeth Warren. Why don't you start there? Take a sip of water and get rid of all the college cheese shards you got lodged in your throat.
I'm here to fight back because we will not forget. We do not want to forget. We will use that vision to make sure that we fight harder, we fight tougher, and we fight more passionately than ever. We still...
Mind you, guys, all this rhetoric you're hearing from her was on Inauguration Day of January 20th, 2017, when Trump was sworn in.
have a fight on our hands. Fight hard for the changes Americans are demanding. Get in the fight, to winning the fight, fighting. He's fighting. We'll use every tool possible to fight for this change. We'll fight fighting hard. Serious about fighting.
Knockout blow.
We gotta get on our front foot and fight.
They are knockout blow after knockout blow they're delivering, the Trump defense team. Listen to this. They are just tearing them up.
Problems, we call them out and we fight back. I'm in this fight. I am fighting. Get in this fight. Get in this fight. Get in this fight. And fighting, we all need to be in the fight. We all need to stay in the fight. We stay in this fight.
If I had a nickel for every time I hear the word fight in this video, I would have a lot of nickels.
We fought back. I am not afraid of a fight. I am in this fight all the way. You don't get what you don't fight for. Our our fight, we are in this fight for our lives. This is the fight of our lives.
But we are going to make sure that this fight does not end tonight.
This is a fight for our lives, the lives of our friends and family members and neighbors. It is a fight, and it is a fight that we're going to work to make sure continues. It's a fight. It is a fight. It is a fight, and that's what this fight is for.
Well, I'm wired to fight
Them nickels are racking up, guys. I got a lot of nickels.
anyone who isn't doing their job for us. I'm John Tester, and you're damn right. I approve this message.
Could you imagine if Donald Trump said, I am Donald Trump, and you're damn right I approve this message? Could you imagine? They'd probably try to impeach him again over that.
And I'll have lots of fights ahead of us, and I'm ready to stand up and keep fighting. We have to fight.
We have lots of fights.
We're going to fight. We need
We're gonna
to fight.
fight.
We need to
I got
fight.
lots of fights.
We're going to fight. We got a few more fights.
Fight.
We're gonna take the privilege of a few more fights, and
We're gonna
we
fight,
have the
fight,
biggest
fight.
fight of all. I will never stop fighting. I will fight like hell to fight back against anyone.
We need to say loud and clear that we are
Let me
ready
guess,
to
fight?
fight.
Oh, yeah.
Bare knuckles fight.
Now they're going to have to actually fight back against people.
The fight has
No, you're gonna have to fight back against people.
Are these even the way these Democrats are just such kooky, wacky people, aren't they?
And we're gonna have to just start fighting in front of people.
Elizabeth Warren, aren't you guys glad? Oh, aren't you guys glad that plane was taken out on the runway? Elizabeth Warren. I'm glad her career never launched. That cottage cheese voice, man. We're gonna fight. You think Hillary was bad?
to be conducted.
It's so important that we need to fight.
Fight that fight.
We have been fighting.
I was fighting very hard. Time is of the essence, both in terms of the fight.
I think we should be fighting.
Well, I really believe we need to fight.
We're simply not going to take this line down. We're going to keep fighting.
So I'm telling all my colleagues, this is the fight
Tim Kaine.
of our life.
Whose side are you on? Who are you
Fight.
fighting for?
They're
Fight.
fighting, or I'm
Fight.
fighting. We're both fighting.
We
Fight.
will fight back. We're not going to just take this line down.
I'm just going to keep the fight up.
What
Fight.
we have to do right now.
You guys remember the Mortal Kombat voice? Fight. All right. I think I've proven my point. I don't know how much of this crap I can take. I'm sorry for abusing you guys for the last 6 minutes and 3 seconds. I don't think I can abuse myself anymore listening to this. So if you'd like to abuse yourself, go ahead and go to my comment section. I'm going to link to it here. If you would like to commit an act of self-abuse, here it is. Let's see if there's anything other than fighting here. Let's see.
Fighting for, marched and fought, and we just have to fight.
And we just
This
fight.
is a fight.
Yeah, just more fight
for our
stuff.
country.
And as the next governor of Georgia, I
Stacey
will
Abrams.
never stop fighting. We can show the old guard something new, and we can fight.
My fight. Those fights need to fight an administration.
Fight.
Requiring us to fight, and fight we will. Their fight. And their fight. And their
You
fight.
cackling
the fight
witch.
is a fight. And so when we fight the fight that we are in,
Hey, Kamala, you ran against Joe Biden back in 2019. You know what that means, right? That means you ain't black, right? According to your boss, according to Joe Biden, because you opposed him, you ain't black. Not only are you not black because you refuse to call yourself black, you won't acknowledge your Jamaican heritage. But according to Joe Biden, the man that you believed raped women, by the way, which you said during the debates, you said you believed all women. You ain't black because you went against him.
when we are fighting this fight, we fight this fight. The strength of who we are is we will fight. And we will fight, the fight, we will fight. We are in a fight. The fight. It is a fight, and it is a fight born out of patriotism. This is a fight fighting.
So you guys can be patriots and not be accused of white supremacy. I thought being patriotic is white supremacy, isn't it? Aren't we a bunch of cow seed hick boy? If we're patriots, that means we're a bunch of white supremacists that don't even have names. We have initials like LW. Hey, LW, y'all want to go to the Trump rally today? Hey, you bring me my issue of Hog Hunter magazine? Do you get my issue of Hog Hunter? Bring me my issue of Hog Hunter so we can go down to Donald Trump and we going to fight today because we patriotic. We going to make America great again, boy. You ready, ALW? So that's what we're branded as when we use the word patriotism. But you can have Kamala Harris be patriotic, and they're just great Americans,
Say fight on, fight on, fight on, fight
Fight
on.
I'm here to say one more time in publicly, this is not a fight.
Get rid of the cottage cheese in your throat, please.
To take on, but this is the fight in front of us now.
Every single one of you.
Get him, Rocky.
And every one of you.
Come on, Rock. Knock him into tomorrow, Rock.
That's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. It's a word people use. But please stop the hypocrisy.
I'm ready, Mick.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
All right.
Subscribe.
We did it, Adrian. We did it.
What a knockout blow the Trump legal team delivered to these wicked, evil, fraudulent, un-American, communist, Marxist Democrats. So, yeah, call me butter, Tiffany. Call me butter, because I'm on a roll. Because Donald Trump, that's not cottage cheese, it's Gorilla Glue. Oh, man, I need some money, guys. I feel like raising $100,000 by tomorrow. So you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to put some Gorilla Glue in my hair. And then I'm going to start a GoFundMe. If you need to make some money, guys, peep game. Hey, Rima, congrats on the new business. You're doing good things there. The old Bobby is glad to be back, Mike. The old Bobby is glad to be back. Guys, if it were up to me, I'd broadcast 3 times a day. I wish what I'm doing right now, I wish I could do full time. I really do. Do you guys know I haven't even monetized my channel yet? Between all my channels, I got, 24,000 followers that grew like pretty much in like a span of 3 months. I haven't even monetized yet, guys. I don't get paid to do this. Maybe that's why, I don't need the money to do this. I don't need to get paid to give my opinion. And so I'm not afraid to say what needs to be said because I'm doing great in the private sector. God's blessing me. I'm focusing on those things in my life that I can control. And I hope you guys are too. I really do, guys. Let me see some ones in the comments. If you are happy that Donald Trump got acquitted today, let me see some ones in the comments. If you feel like this second acquittal is the beginning of the rebirth and the second wind of the MAGA movement. Look at all those ones. Look at those ones. Let me see some ones. If you've been focusing on all those things in your life that no matter who is in the White House, you still have control over. Let me see them ones. Look at that ocean of ones. Look at all these Americans. That's what it's about, guys. That's what it's all about, folks. I love you guys. I've missed you guys. No news is always good news. If you don't hear from your man, Bobby Hesley, it's because I'm up to something good. Okay? And who knows? Maybe I'll do a Valentine's Day broadcast tomorrow. Maybe I'll share some insights on relationships tomorrow. Maybe while you guys are at Olive Garden and Red Lobster and, wherever people go for Valentine's Day, maybe I'll talk about relationships tomorrow. What do you think, huh? Maybe. We don't always have to just talk about politics. My stream last week was about business. I was walking you guys through one of my trash outs I'm doing on one of my rehabs. So, guys, if you have not done so, please like this video, comment on it, share it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm working with what I have. I promise you there's going to be some killer alternative platforms that are going to come out that are going to be censorship free. I will be on all those when it happens. But for now, let's work with what we have. Let's use these commie platforms against them. And let's continue to make America great. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. There's so many other things you could be doing right now, but you choose to watch a man, Bobby Hesley. So I love you for that. I thank you for that. And I will see you on the next broadcast. Peace.